Hi guys, welcome back to the Christy Me podcast. My name is Christina, your host, and look who's back today. It's Alyssa and Alex for a brand new episode.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi guys, thank you so much for coming again on our podcast. It's so lovely having you guys here. It was lovely last time with the mental health episode. A lot of people liked it. So today we're going to give you guys another topic on money. Money.
My favorite topic.
It's a pleasure being back.
It's funny though because before like we started filming, like we were talking about money and stuff, and we had like different views on it. But it's gonna be nice to actually talk this out and see what views we have.
Well, what views you have, what kind of different perspectives we could get from it too.
Exactly.
Like we could say some stuff that other people don't see, or they see something different to what we see and understand it in a different way, if that makes sense.
I feel like a lot more people can relate to this one because everyone not needs money, but like some people don't have mental health issues.
Yeah.
It happens, but this is something like everyone could really.
Yeah. Especially during like this time now, like we're kind of like in a recession. It's like everyone is like kind of relying on money to like really
get by.
Money, I guess you could say, is a hard thing to get now compared to how many years ago. Let's talk about 5 years ago. It's a lot harder to get now than it was 5 years ago because everybody's.
Well, COVID too.
COVID too. Inflation went up. Everything goes up. That means minimum wage goes up, but even minimum wage doesn't go up enough to support. So, and especially with, let's say, the kind of government system we have here, it doesn't help as well.
I agree.
So
I agree with that.
It could go both ways. It could go with like minimum wage goes up, but also the government wants more power, so he's going to keep us with a lower minimum wage with higher prices.
Especially then with taxes, there's 15% of your pay going off, and you don't even make enough to begin with.
You know what's crazy to me is like it's like we work, okay, so they're taking taxes off of what we make already, and then like at the end of the year, it's like we have to even pay them more back.
The accountants to do our taxes,
and then even when we go grocery shopping or something, we're still paying taxes. Like it's crazy.
Certain things,
maybe not grocery shopping.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, when we work, we get taxed. When we buy stuff, we get taxed. When we have to pay for stuff, we get taxed.
When we're getting back the money, we're getting
We're
taxed.
getting back the money, we're getting taxed. Everything we do is getting taxed.
Yeah.
And that's purely because the government says he has no money and is trying to do all this stuff, but he's not doing anything with the money.
Yeah.
If anything. That's why missing employees, unemployments are so high compared to even 3 years ago. The unemployment rate is so much higher than what it was a couple years ago because he doesn't want to pay anybody anymore and he wants to tax us more and more and more and more. And it's not like there's one tax that's like, let's say for us would be 15%. It's multiple different taxes and we're all suffering from it. Yeah. So there's no real big way to avoid it.
Especially like certain professions, like I know in my profession, it's in like high demand. So they're actually like paying me to go to school. Well, so I get money per semester because the pay is so bad when you get out of college. Don't even think about going to university because the pay is not even, it's not even going to go up by $1. Imagine 4 years for uni. You're spending like thousands of dollars and what, for an extra $1 an hour? Not even?
Here's the thing, because it's not just your field, my field.
No, certain professions.
Every field is missing employees because everyone's in unemployment. Let's say my field right now, majority of people who work in my field are mid-50s, early 60s, about to retire. And for, let's say, every 7 people that retire, only 1 person comes in. So that 50 people goes down to, I don't know the math off the top of my head, but those 50 people go down to maybe 8, 9. So it really cuts down because it's all the older people working and the younger people just want to they just want the unemployment money and they just want to kind of, play with the system, if that makes sense.
It's like so harmful because it's like, if you don't got money nowadays, it's like you can't make it anywhere. It's like, and you know what, like even like back then, like how our ancestors lived, like maybe it wasn't like actual money, but it was like gold. Like they went off on
stuff
gold.
That they would basically trading with the materials that they had, even like silk or certain foods or.
But where did this this is why like I have such a hard time of like finding out where this originated from because God never. Like
it was never money.
God never created money.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like this was man-made.
It's more of a trading process, like a using materials for your advantage, like useful materials.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, what they did. So let's say back then, there were slaves. The slaves worked. They got a house. They got food. That's it.
Not good house or
not a good house. But
No.
what they did was say, screw that. You guys don't get food. You guys don't get a house. What you do is you work. You get money to pay a house that's maybe just as good as the one you were living in back then, and you can pay for your food, and that's it. And then over the years, they've just done that more and more. And then what they've done is start adding taxes so it can just stay the same, so they could stay in that kind of field. So they didn't necessarily do anything. Money has always been a thing with trading with other people. It's always been a thing. It's more of gold and all that kind of stuff.
In a sense, like currency, but not money.
Currency,
it's hard for me to explain. Just
it's like in the sense of currency, but like money itself, like the actual like paper money or like banks that we had,
instead of
it was not alive back then, you know.
It was actual useful things that you could use, certain foods, materials.
But
not
I find it's like it got so bad to the point it's like oh, if you don't have money, like you can't survive at all. Like we are considered like average class, like medium class.
Yes.
And we have like the inflation is like incredible, and people are saying like, oh, like, you know, you should be out of the house by this age and like have an apartment by this age and stuff like that. But it's almost impossible. Like it's impossible to even buy something at a specific rate, like a specific rate that you want because of the cost of living.
Also, at the same time, I feel like it's cultures like us, Armenian, Greek. Our parents want us to stay. Well, my parents want me to stay home with them till I get married. Yeah. Who knows when that's gonna be? They want me to stay. They want me to save my money because.
Yeah.
Well, even that saving, you can't save for a house.
Well, I have.
Anymore.
It's not for a house, but I've been saving.
Yes, you've been saving. Me too, and everybody who goes down this is saving because their parents don't like saving. But you can't save for a house anymore because a house
it's not possible.
Starts at like $300,000.
To be honest, like if we didn't have the base that our parents had set for us,
it'd be so much harder.
Hard. Like it would have been so hard.
You'd be working at minimum wage just to be eating.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, that this is where I want to bring God into it. Like, God did not intend for this to happen. Like, God didn't create money, right? He didn't create money for us. That was man-made. Man was like, oh, let's create money to, like, you know, so we could get something back. When
here's the thing: do you think it was man-made, or do you think the devil brought it upon people just so he can get his revenge?
The thing is, like, okay, the devil does a lot of things.
Exactly, but
I think you saw the reaction on my face. I'm like, oh.
The devil does a lot of things, but in the end of the day, it's like, I feel like this had a lot to do with greed. And yes, that's a characteristic of the enemy. But a lot of people these days are just greedy. Like, truly greedy. Like, they want, even if you do something, like, if they were trying to do something of the kindness of their heart, they still want something out of you.
In return.
They want something in return. And it's like, where did this greed come from, right? And of course, it's from the enemy.
Yeah, it's from the enemy, but it's also because greed also comes due to the fact that everything's so expensive. So you're greedy for something because you need to pay something off.
Yeah.
So it's not just because someone wants to be greedy. Someone could be very nice and just very honest and very true to themselves and not be greedy, but just be that tiny bit greedy because they need it.
Yeah, but it's just it's such a bad characteristic to have.
Yes.
It's a characteristic of the enemy that, like, God does not want for us at all. Like, it's just like, why do you have to be greedy? Because we are called to, like, literally, like, sacrifice our life for other people. Yep. Like, we're supposed to be other people's servants.
Yep.
So it's like, for us to be greedy, like, that's not of God at all. And I find it's like people take it to the extreme, like, oh, like, I need money. Like, they want the quick fix. Like, everyone wants. And I know we talked about this before. Like, you guys do love money as well. But, like, I feel like people have just made idols out of money. Like, they need it to survive. It's like, what happened to relying on God to survive?
That's actually something I thought of. So I talked about this before, like, money's an important thing. But then I realized, like, at the same time, I've seen how much that can mess up your relationship with family, with God especially. Like, some people might just start taking more time to keep working, and that's going to mess up their relationship with their friends, with their family. You're not going to see your family anymore. Your friends are going to start not avoiding, but imagine, oh no, I'm working, no, I'm picking up another shift, I gotta cancel. And then no, you're not gonna be invited anymore. It's true. You're not gonna be invited. Look, you're not gonna be invited. It's true. You're not gonna be invited things anymore, and then you're gonna forget who you are as a person and the things you believe in.
Of course. And you know what? Actually, I was even talking about this with a friend the other day, where it's like, you want a good high-paying job in today's society, but where is the time for your family? Where are the times for the people that matter the most? You don't have time if you're working like 80 hours a week for that pay, and you don't have time for your own kids or for your husband or for your wife. It's like, what is the point of it though? And the enemy's tactic is to break up a lot of families and to kind of make your mind focus on things that are selfish. And money makes you selfish.
Well, here's the thing. We could easily take me as an example.
Oh boy.
You see it? I don't know if you see it. I am working almost 7 days a week.
On top of school.
So I'm out of the house maybe 16 hours a day. And it is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all. That. It's heavy on the body. It's heavy on my sleep. But in a way, it's not, well, I need it, but I enjoy it. And I feel like that comes with money too. To be rich, the way I see it, is to enjoy what you're doing. Because if you enjoy what you're doing, nobody can tell you off. Because you enjoy it. You're rich in your heart. You're not rich because of money. You're rich in your heart. Even if you're homeless, you can still be rich in your heart because you enjoy what you're doing. Even if you're working a minimum wage job, you could enjoy talking to clients. You could enjoy working at a fast food service. You could just enjoy it and be rich in your heart instead of being rich money-wise. So there's different ways to see it.
I do agree with that in a way that, like, God, the way He provides is that He will open up a door for you that will lead you to like a career job that is actually meant for you. It's what He wants you to do, and like you are genuinely happy with it. And yes, it brings you the money, but it's not that like you're fully focused on the money. You're fully focused on your job because you love it,
Yeah.
And you thank God for providing that for you, providing that open door for you. And there was even sometimes like, back at my old career job, I lost that career job. Like I was a travel agent, and I lost that career job because yes, it brought me the money, but God was like, this is not for you. Like, you don't feel happy here. And it's true, like, after a while, like, I did like the environment I was in, but there was a certain point where it's like, I was just doing it, like, because the pay was good.
It was a breaking point.
It was a breaking point, and God was like, no, I need to close this door for you. And that's what He did. He closed that door, and yes, it hurt. Like, it hurts, right? But in the end of the day, it's like, He opened other doors for me that was, like, making me feel like I was genuinely happy of what I was doing. So a lot has to do with God, like how He provides. And when you lean on Him to provide for you, even like money-wise, like He provides. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah, that I understand because, briefly going to say, since I was 10, I knew what I want to do. Yeah. I'm not going to go into detail, but working with kids from newborn till 5 years old, and that doesn't pay that good. Out of college, it's a lot harder than people think. And in the summer, 3.5 months, 4 months, because college, you have a long time off, I work about 55 hours a week because I do 2 jobs. And I'm wondering, why am I working 9 to 10 hours a day to get minimum wage? And then I look at the kids, and it's like, they're like my kids. They're not really my kids, but exactly. And I see how other children are nowadays. I'm like, look, I might not be getting paid the most, but I'm shaping the minds of the children of the future. And I believe that was, to me, a gift from God to know since I was 10, through a little bit of community service, what I did, like, I feel blessed to know that from a young age, I realized what I'm meant for, regardless of the money, of how much it'd be paid. Maybe I would be better as a doctor, example.
Yeah.
But would I really be happy?
Exactly.
Would I don't think so.
But you know what I love about that? Like, just by you saying that, like, I'm hearing, like, the Holy Spirit saying, like, it literally is, like, what you are meant to do, because
I think it is.
The children are the next generation. So it's like you having an influence on them to, like, shape their minds, their little minds, and, like, I don't know, just kind of like bringing them into today's society and like growing them to be like different from everyone else. That's, I don't know, you're called to do that.
It's because now it's more advanced, the education, even for like, I know it sounds weird for like a 1-year-old, a newborn. It's much more advanced with like domains, objectives, all that. And we have to involve real life situations, life and death and loss. We have to involve it in the curriculum. And we do it in a way where we're not trying to scare children about the future, but it's a lot. But it makes me happy because I know I've done, even if it's one thing within all 5 years, I've done one extra thing for one child that they're going to hopefully like hold on to, regardless of how much I'm getting paid, regardless of what I do.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with the financial part of it. You say you're not getting paid much.
It's not going to be a lot at all.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know if it's everywhere in the world, but at least here where we live,
Canada.
The more you make, the more you're gonna get taxed.
That's
the
true.
More you make.
That's
so
true.
even my field, for example, I'm gonna be making a lot, but I'm gonna be getting taxed maybe 60%.
But it depends how you get paid, because if you get paid in cash, which is a big thing,
of course,
a lot of people want to do stuff in cash because you won't get taxed. Like half cash, half through card installments, stuff like that, because you have to prove something to the government.
Yes, of course. And obviously in my field, I think even Christina's seen it. Since I was young, I've always been playing with Legos. I've always been building stuff. And I grew up with that. So even now building full-on houses is something that I've always loved doing, that I'm happy doing. It's the happiest thing I've ever done. I get stressed. Yes, it gets nerve-wracking. You might struggle at points. But it's a learning curve. It's a learning experience. And you have to enjoy it, because then you're going to excel. And regardless of the pay, regardless of how much you get taxed, regardless of how much you make.
Actually, like, what I love about you is that, like, seeing you on your journey as well, like, you didn't go in the same journey that most people would go into. Like, a lot of people are like, okay, well, after high school, like, I got into going to college and university.
Social science, then I'm going to figure out at 19, 20 what I want to do.
Him, like, when I first knew, like, what he was going into, I'm like, you know what? Good for you. Like, he was following his heart, and he still is. And that's amazing.
Yeah, well, it also takes in place, too, with where you come from. Like, my grandfather, he was the same way I was. From a young kid, he was up in the mountains in Greece, doing how much just to get a job. It's like, it's also inspiring for me, even though I enjoy the trade. Who knows how much, because I'm quite literally in love with the trade. You grow up to seeing people doing it as well, so it pushes you, it motivates you, and it makes you look like, I want to be like him, because he's the person I want to be like.
You don't want to be like them for the money, you want to be like them for their characteristics and
the character and the strength,
devotion for what they did, regardless.
And a lot of times, like, God, like, uses our family members to, like, kind of, like, walk in the footsteps as well. Like, that's why, like, family is also very important too, because it's like, you're able to see what they've done to create their base, and you're just like, okay, you know what? I don't care for the things of this world or what they're doing now. Let me continue the steps of what, the elders did.
My grandfather was like a carpet cleaner.
Oh, wow.
But when he came to Canada, my grandmother was stay at home. They came from Greece, got married young. He was a carpet cleaner, and my grandmother stay at home. And it's not that much, a carpet cleaner. But my grandparents still made it work. They had my mom. And I don't know how they did it, but they were smart with it. They were able to live their lives, buy whatever they need. And now they're retired, obviously. Vacation. They're in Cuba right now. Every year. And they keep giving to my mother, my brother, and I, and keep giving. And I'm wondering how. Especially, like, not high pay. Well, exactly.
This is God, okay, guys. This is the glory, the grace of God, okay? So, like, literally, when people are saying, like, I don't know how these families did it. I don't know how my parents did it. I don't know how my grandparents did it. This is God. Like, God will open up the doors, and He knows our generations, right? He knows our ancestors, everything. Like, He will bless those that, like,
deserve.
I feel like it's a very blissful thing.
But here's the thing: we also see it from our grandparents. Like, let's say people who are around our age, who don't, let's say, have their grandparents or their parents, they're most likely unemployed because they don't see the things we see with our grandparents. We see that they were always working.
They don't have the same advantages.
They never stopped, and we still see that to this day, that our grandparents never stopped. So we get that character from them, and that's why we work so much, is because they never stopped. So we have to keep up with the way they work, so we can even be maybe half the man they, or half the woman they were.
And it's not that, like, people that are like less privileged than,
of course not,
than us are like unworthy of God's blessings. It's everyone is blessed by God. It's just
in different ways.
Yeah, it's in different ways, and it's also like how your mindset is, and like how obedient you are towards God, and how obedient your family's been to God.
Yep.
Like I see my father. Like my father is completely obedient, and like he works with just the open doors that God gives him. And it's like I see that, and it's like just for me doing the same, we are obedient, and God just gives and gives and gives. The less obedient you are, like the more disobedient you are basically like you're going towards the closed doors that God left closed for a reason. And God's like, no, I don't want you there. Like you are going there for what? You're creating a cycle for yourself. For what reason, And then people are like, oh, but why did God do this to me? And it's like, no, that wasn't God.
You gave yourself the advantages. God gave you the advantages, and you pushed the extra mile to get to where you want to be. And that's essentially what it is. You always have to push yourself. You always have to keep on going. And as tired as you are, maybe you need let's say a 1 day break. Even 1 day or half a day break can just push you back up and say, my father, my grandfather, my mother, my grandma never did this. I have to keep up with that. Or my idol never did this. I have to keep up with that. So whoever your idol is, it's like that competitive nature in the person wants to keep up with that.
Oh, we shouldn't really have idols. Our idol should be God, but yeah.
Yes, essentially. But God brings those idols to us so He can show us what reality is.
I mean, not necessarily in an idol form. It's more of like,
I was gonna say in a different form, but not idol.
It's not like an idol form, like not like, oh, like I worship this person. It's more of like God will bring, let's say, like my father to me and be like, you want to follow in his footsteps, go ahead. I've opened this door for your father. I'm opening this door for you. Yeah, exactly. So, oh man. But you know what? Like, I guess we'll go into. I mean, yeah, we just talked about like how God, like how we could rely on Him for the financial situation.
See, there's another thing like I want to talk about. Like, while you guys were talking, I'm listening and I'm just thinking about like, have you ever noticed wherever you are, specifically at work? At our work, I know we talk with like a lot of older clients, and then they find out how many hours on top of school, on top of extracurriculars we do, and they're like,
you're crazy.
And today, one of them told me, they're like, you're a hard worker, and I don't even know this lady, and she's telling me I'm a hard worker, and I'm like, I don't know how I do it either. But then going back to before, it's like I realize I've been blessed with the mindset that God's given me to like just keep going. And sometimes still even thinking about it, even with God, I still don't know how I'm able to. It's like working 10 hours a day, and then I have practice 3 days a week, and then I work all weekend at a second job, and I'm like, I really have been blessed by Him to be able to keep going. And people are telling me, they're like, you're gonna break. I've been working full time in the summers for the past 3 years, and then I go straight back into school, 55 hours a week for work. That's literally
the strength of Jesus within us.
Yeah,
that's the strength of Jesus. Like, there's even times where it's like I'm working, or like I remember when I was in school and I used to work and like go to school as well, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm doing this. Like,
how am I keeping up every day?
And it's like, and then I look back at him, like Jesus was with me the entire time. Like He was giving me that strength to move on, literally.
Yeah, well, like you said, clients at our work, people we've never met in our lives, come up to us, like even up to me every day. They come up to me, you look exhausted. And I just look at them. I just tell them, it's like, it's what I do. Like, I don't mind doing this every day. Don't get me wrong, it gets tired. With some clients, maybe I might be a bit more aggressive because I'm tired. But
I've seen it.
And like you said, people say I'm gonna break. When I started working, people said I was gonna break because I was working 7 days a week. And people kept saying, you're going to break, you're going to break, you're going to break. It's been over a year now, and I haven't broken because I don't let myself break. I don't relax myself, because once you relax yourself, that's when you're going to break and say, I never want to work again. But if you keep on pushing and you keep going, at a certain point, it won't be momentum. It's going to be your mindset saying, continue.
But people will always be negative like that. No matter how many years you do it, they will still have that negative mind. Yeah. You could be working for 30 years. They're like, you're going to break.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you can't break.
While you were saying that, like, a verse from Proverbs just came up and said, like, if you are, like, it's not like pulling like the actual verse, but it's basically saying like if you're lazy, it leads to poverty. Like that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but
well, that's true.
It's from Proverbs.
When people say you're gonna break, depending how you take it, you could break based on what they're saying and use their words as power, or you can say, I don't want to listen to them. I'm gonna continue and I'm gonna do it because I either enjoy it, I want it, and it makes me happy.
Yeah.
So. Even like my parents, they tell me, stop working so much. I don't do it because I need to work. I do it because 1, I want to work. 2, I enjoy the environment. And 3, it keeps me going. It keeps me active.
Yeah, because you work with me.
I can't sit at home anymore. Like even when I'm at home, I have to go for a walk. I have to go do something. I can't sit at home.
But
you're productive.
That's more of like your mind racing. Like that's. Yeah, I could maybe fall into a different.
And that's how I relax. Like when I do sports,
but the thing is, like we kind of are like meant to relax as well. Like God Himself rested on the 7th day when He was creating the earth. You know, like we are meant to relax on the 6th or 7th day for sure. Like we can just
Saturday,
like,
Sunday.
Go.
I just realized that 6th or 7th day, Saturday, Sunday, the weekend.
Saturday, Sunday. Like we can't just be like we're not robots. We can't just be like go. Yes, with the strength of Jesus, we have that ability to be like, okay, like, I want to work. I want to do this. Like, I'm going to continue. And of course, the more productive you are, the more you're going to get things out of it, right? But it's also like, you do have to give your body a break too. Like, you're not Superman.
Yeah, no, of course. But that's what I'm saying. I do stuff like that's like going for walks or playing sports. That's how I relax because I'm doing something I enjoy without the feel of pressure. I'm relaxed, like playing my sports. I'm relaxed, going for a walk. Nobody's pressuring me. I can take as much time as I want. And I could just walk. Last week, I went for a 6-hour walk. Yeah. Most enjoyable thing I've ever done.
Oh, wait, so you're relaxed getting body checked into boards while playing hockey? That's relaxing? That's your brain?
You know what, actually, I agree with that. Like,
I agree with it too. I just find it funny. That's the first thing I thought of, him getting body checked into the board.
I agree that, like, relaxing doesn't have to be, like,
sitting on the couch.
Like a couch potato. Like, you could literally just have that day off, go play hockey, go, do getting body checked into the boards.
I've watched it happen. I'm like, oh, now I'm thinking
like about he's rough when he plays. Yeah.
Not as much as I used to be. No, but it's true. I don't play it. I'm aggressive.
But
I'm sorry.
What?
No, but it's so relaxing getting hit into the boards by other guys. And just falling to the ground.
You barely feel like you have so much padding. I mean, it just feels like you barely feel something at some points. If you hit the wrong spot, then you're screwed.
But you know what, though? Like, I do agree. Like, even, like, playing your favorite sport, like, it's relaxing. It's relaxing to your mind.
It's relaxing.
See, I dance. That's relaxing. It's relaxing. No one's getting pushed by a guy.
Well, it's not the getting pushed part. It's you're relaxing because you're doing something you enjoy on your own time and you're doing it for as long as you do.
And you're not being forced.
Who cares? Exactly. You don't care if you get hit. You don't care what happens. Like, when I swing a hammer all day, I don't care if I stub my finger because for me, it's like, I'm doing it on my own time.
Yet you come crying to me, Alyssa, look what happened. Oh!
I make
look
jokes
what happened
about
to
it.
my thumb.
I make jokes about it.
But you know,
I cut it with a knife.
I see him like happy in everything he does. Like even when he, like with his work, he's happy. When I see him play hockey, like he is happy on the ice.
I just like messing with him.
I see him in the stands. He's just smiling. Like you just know.
Getting body checked and I'm good.
He's smiling in the process.
No, you know what's funny? I have laughed at people body checking me before, and I've just been like, oh boy, he's not very strong, not very powerful. Doesn't feel very. It tickles me.
But yeah, no, I do. I do feel like relaxing could be still productive too. Yeah, definitely.
Because he's increasing on skills.
Yeah.
He's working on He's working on stuff that will benefit him.
Yeah,
Sports hockey will help him with construction, building muscle, speed.
Well, like even now, let's say what I'm doing. Let's say what I'm doing. Let's say now in class, I'm very stressed because I'm very nervous that I'm not going to be able to pass that.
Yeah, you tell me every week.
This module I'm doing right now, I'm so stressed about it. But in a way, like let's say today, I was practicing all day. I still didn't get it right, but I'm still going to practice the next week. I'm going to practice and practice and practice. But I'm doing it on my own time. I'm not going to move on until I get that right at least once. Yeah. So, and that's what makes you, I guess you could say, successful. It's the mindset of continuing and going and not giving up until you get it at least once, and then a second time, a third time, a fourth time until you perfect it.
He's gonna break my table soon, guys.
Yeah.
The strength of God.
The carpenter strength.
No, but honestly, yeah, like you need consistency. You need
consistency, or
consistency.
Guys, this is a crazy podcast.
It's okay. We have the energy. We're good.
Like you need consistency.
Yes.
Consistency.
Yes.
Consistency. You need productivity. Like you need it to get far. You definitely do. But like I feel like
that's a blessing in my eyes.
Yeah, it's a blessing to have that because it's like those moments where it's like you would feel tired. And you're like, no, but like I want to keep going because like this is what it's meant. Like this is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
I was made for this.
And like in other ways, like let's say I stopped working out. I've stopped working out for how long now? But I'm keeping my body in shape because I'm doing stuff to keep my body in shape. Like let's say at school all day, I'm gonna be honest, I started eating like shit. But I'm sweating all
language.
Oh, that's true. I'm not eating well, but I'm still sweating all of it out because I'm working all day nonstop. I have.
But that's your metabolism too. You're a guy. Metabolism for guys are way different.
I also
you can't compare that.
I also have my tool belt on, which is a good 50 pounds on my shoulders all day. So it's like
I have 2 crying kids on my hips, which is another 100 pounds.
Oh. Yeah. I'm not saying.
I know.
I'm not comparing
I'm just
anything.
messing it with you.
This is the woman versus man.
Yeah. A lot of it sweats right away, especially working in the heat. It sweats. It gets rid of everything right away. So it's like even if I eat a cookie with how much junk that's in there, it's gonna all go away because.
All right.
So much of that
I think we're getting off topic.
We've moved off the money topic. Moved into the.
Let's not talk about health. We're gonna talk about money. Okay, so we're gonna go into actually like the truth about inflation and recessions. Like, okay, this guy
scam. It's all a scam.
It is, guys. Like, this is all about. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna be censored with this.
One thing I will say is everything will crash soon enough.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna get so expensive to a point where I don't even know what's gonna happen. I don't even know what's gonna happen. Is it gonna go back to like how was it when our parents were young?
Well, not maybe that low, but low enough to that point, and we're tipping now.
Everyone's gonna know that at that point, money is just a joke.
Yeah,
it is.
We keep it like this with the system we have. It's gonna within maybe next 3 years max. It's gonna crash.
We're still gonna be really young.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's gonna fall. So
I'm gonna be 22. 22 or 23.
No, but for real, like it's just. I don't know. Like right now, it's at an all-time high, and a lot of people are like not seeing the end of it, and they're just so. A lot of people are scared, and I feel like.
It's okay to be scared.
I feel like, it's okay to be scared, but
I don't want to be scared.
I feel like that's such an enemy characteristic, like, let's make them scared, like, let's make them so oppressed to the point of, like oppressed in terms of money, like you're so tight, And it's like, and I feel like, during this time.
I think we all feel it a bit, though.
Yeah, we feel it a lot, but during this time specifically, I've been blessed by God, like, with everything that I have, and I rely on Him for a lot of things. In regards to financial wise, and He's made me financially stable. And there's times where it's like, people are like, oh, but aren't you scared about like how much this will cost or how much this will cost? And it's like, no, like for me, like I know it's scary times right now, but like I always tell them with the same answer, like my God's got me, like He's literally got me, like He's got me financially stable. And it's like He opens like different doors here and there, like we're in the middle of the recession. And He's opening different doors that is leading us to money. And it's like, what is this? Mm-hmm. What is this? And it's like, I know it's not something that we should need money, but like it's to the point that like the government gave us no choice. Yeah. It's like you either you need money or you're gonna live on the streets.
Or you have to work for cash. That's quite literally it.
That's another thing. Exactly. That's another thing. Like my parents, starting from my grandparents, I don't know where they learned. God has given them the thought process to know what to do with their money, and they passed that down to my parents. And I feel so incredibly lucky because I was freaking out at a point when I was a year ago doing my exams. I'm like, I'm crying while I'm studying. I'm like, Mom, you don't get it. It's not gonna pay enough. I'm gonna be living underneath a bridge one day. I was over exaggerating because I was hyperventilating. And she's like, you're not. If you get married, you're gonna have someone to help out with that, and if not, you're with me. My mom, she talks in third person. Mama's gonna take care of you. Yeah. It's okay. You don't need to freak out. Even if you weren't in school or had no job, she knows I'm gonna be in school and have a job. But to reassure me, she's gonna always take care of me, and I feel so lucky, especially like 2 generations, my parents and my grandparents, to be given that mindset and that determination to make sure everything's gonna be okay. For me, especially because money, I don't know how I ended up having it be such a big thing. Money, I guess from seeing everyone else freak out, it made me freak out. But my parents, like, I couldn't be any luckier to have given that stability feeling. Especially with love, like that really shows that they really do care for me. It doesn't matter what I'm doing in life, job-wise, if I'm a doctor or a garbage woman. I don't know, someone who cleans.
There's some people that's things. Like
they get paid a lot.
No, but
I don't know. I don't know.
There's some people that I met in the past, like, oh, like, you know, their families would be like, oh, like, you need to be a doctor, you need to be like a politician.
They still are, some families.
Yeah, there's a lot of families that push their kids to like be someone with a high-paying job. But and I'm sorry, that's greed.
That's greed, but it's not just that. Those people they think it's gonna pay high. It's not paying much higher than anything else.
Because in the end of the day, you owe all kinds to the government.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, not just owe all kinds to the government. Every field, like we said before, every field is missing people. But these doctors, these nurses, they work so many hours to get such minimal pay, barely see their kids, barely
they can't even
pay off
spend
their
the
house.
Money.
They can't. At that point. They barely can afford their house. God knows how much they could give their kids because they're sacrificing almost 10 years in school, maybe more, just to get a degree to work in a nursing home or be a doctor, and then how many other years just to get a couple years of experience to start making a good wage.
But you know what? Like the thing is, like even with that, like I'm not saying like those are good jobs, like. Honestly, like I give thanks to like the nurses.
Yeah, of course, they work really, really hard. They work
really hard. Like their schooling, their jobs. Yes. Even like when you go to them and like they help you out, like they help you, right? But it's just it's more of like the sense of we're living off of paycheck after paycheck after paycheck, and it's like all like the goal with everyone nowadays is literally like just striving after money. Like, it's not even striving after your own happiness or striving after God. Like, it's literally like, oh, well, I gotta do this because I'm making money. I gotta make money. I gotta live. But it's like, and others, like, people don't have the mindset that's like, we really don't need money. The government makes us, like kind of pushes us to the point where, like, okay, well, you need money, though, right?
Well, they find a way to scare us.
Here's a good example. Exactly. Let's say you say, like, take someone who comes from a rich family, is blessed to be rich, but doesn't enjoy his life, doesn't enjoy his financial freedom. And then someone who lives on the streets, barely scratching surface to even eat food, but is enjoying his life. Who do you think is going to win in the end?
I agree.
That's the way you have to think of it. Deep down, God knows who's going to win because He's going to push the one who's enjoying himself, who's having fun. You could be on the streets sleeping, but you could be going up to random people, doing random stuff, or talking to people and enjoying it because it builds your character. It builds, I guess you could say, a relationship with God. It builds a relationship in terms of being true on like how you act, not how others act. with someone who's spoiled, filthy rich. It's like he's filthy rich, she's filthy rich, she's filthy rich. I have to be like him, and him.
Yeah.
When you're poor, you don't see that. You're just like, I want to live life. I want to enjoy myself. Even if I'm making how much, I'm happy doing that because I'm enjoying myself.
Look at the bigger things.
But not even that, but also it's more like God sees who is actually grateful for things. And it's like, I feel like the ones that actually don't have a lot are the ones that are more grateful for, like,
because they cherish it.
Yeah, if you give them a piece of bread, like, they're like, thank you for this.
That could get them
compared to like other people that's like, oh, it's bread, like, let me throw it away. It's just molded after 2 weeks, and you just bought it. And it's like, okay, but like, you didn't even eat it. Like, you could have just given to that to someone that would have
who needs it more.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel money brings a lot of people to greed. And the more you have it, and like, you see families break apart because of money sometimes. It's like, especially when it comes to like, inheritance, and they're like, oh, well, let's steal the money off of him, or let me change the will unknowingly. Like, there's so much things that go on behind family,
behind closed doors
when it comes to money, because they're like, oh, well, we're gonna inherit a lot of money, so let's make sure that we're gonna have it, you know. And it's like, they do like all of these things are so like characteristics of the enemy to get to that, like, to that money. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories, and I'm like,
and
really?
Even the political side, like, even the government, he's adding more stuff. Like, what is carbon tax?
What is that?
What he's taxing us for carbon dioxide, carbon emission.
Monoxide?
Well, it's carbon dioxide, carbon tax. Right? It's something along those lines. But he's taxing us for carbon emission, which is a natural resource that we get.
Yeah.
Why are we getting taxed for something that's a natural resource?
That's good.
Because the government is rigged.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Corruption.
Why is it happening? Like,
actually, so this is actually another point. It's not in the bullet points here, but it's actually one thing I want to bring up, is that this leads into our conversation of like, government like wants a lot of control, okay? And it's going to be talked about in another episode, but they want a lot of control, and the implementing banks is already a sense of control over us, okay? The banks have control over our money. They have the control where it's like, they can literally cut our account in like 2 seconds. Where's all our money afterwards?
They use our money to give to other people. I don't know. I think I learned this from high school, but like, when we put our money in our accounts, they could take it, give it to someone else, and then something to do when other people pay back what they have to pay, then they'll give it to us. I don't remember where I learned it, but it's the crazy way that they do it, and it's being taken from us without us knowing, but then being given back. But it's not really the proper thing to do.
They also make us suffer and keep us broke, is because they want to keep us with a weak mind. Because with a weak mind, you have more control over people. So they do it to keep the weak-minded weak, and those who really wake up, the more curious ones, the more naive ones, are gonna realize this. Well, sorry?
Less naive.
Less naive. They're gonna wake up and say, this is what you're doing to me. Like, what am I doing with my life? I'm quite literally giving him what he wants. So
you're just proving them right.
It's like, I feel like right now, it's like, like the government like tries to like kind of keep you in a tight spot, because then you're able to go to banks and like ask for loans, or ask for like a mortgage, or
like, you need the money for this, come to us, and then we'll charge you interest, and then in the end you're losing your
interest is an all-time high, right? But it's like, and then
for us to get interest, it's low. Like, certain savings accounts will get 5% interest, but then we have to pay them 20% interest.
And then the moment it's like, you want to use cash, oh, we don't take cash.
It's only card or credit.
Like, how don't you take cash?
They don't take cash
that's
because
insane.
With card, the banks get 1.2%.
I
don't know if you guys knew that.
But
the banks do get something from the machines.
Guys, but like, I believe that they are leading us into a cashless society, where it's like,
that's what they're trying to promote.
They're trying to promote where you're gonna put like a little chip in your hand, where it's like it's your debit card.
Look, we already do that with our watches.
What is that?
Each finger's gonna be a different card. Debit.
They're gonna be scanning our eyes at this point. Left eye for debit, right eye for credit.
seriously, guys, it's insane.
No, because here's the thing.
People are not asking the right questions. People are not asking, why are they doing this? Like, this is insane.
They're doing it because with cash, let's say give you $50. That $50 is going to stay $50. You give it to Alyssa, that $50 is going to stay $50. Now, if I give you $50 by card, the bank takes 1.2%. You tap the card again, it takes another 1.2%. So that $50 goes down in value. The bank takes all of it. So eventually that $50 is going to become zero at a certain point. That's why they're promoting card. That's why they're pushing it on those people. Because that's the way the banks work. They want to take all your money by tapping and tapping and tapping or inserting, whatever. Like, paying by card is the way they make money. Yeah. And you don't pay off your stuff, they're getting even more than what they're getting the interest that you paid plus the extra because you're not paying it off from a credit card. So for them, that 1% becomes like 3, 4, 5%.
I find it super crazy because it's like, I remember I was with my dad and we went to a hockey game, went to see the Habs play, and it was literally like, we went to go to the concessions to like get something to eat, and it's like, oh, we don't take cash. My dad's like, are you serious? Like, it's like a $4 thing that I want to purchase. Mm-hmm. You have to purchase with a credit card or something. And it's like, with credit.
By the way, I don't know if with cash becoming less and less a thing, at a certain point they're going to make it illegal for cash to be a thing.
Of course.
At a certain point, cash is going to become so useless to the point where
you start waving it around, you get arrested.
But you can only deposit it.
It's gonna be part of the law.
Exactly. That cash is literally going to be illegal. You pay with cash. You could get a ticket, kind of thing. So it's gonna get to that point at a certain point.
Try me.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a lot of crazy things that are happening that's literally part of the end times, and a lot of people just don't believe it. But there's so much things that's like, now they want to like put a chip in you, and like, okay, you pay with your chip, and if you don't have that chip in you,
you're screwed.
You're screwed. Well, you can't buy groceries. You can't buy anything that you need to buy because you can't pay.
Well, here's another thing. Same thing with cars. Look, cars now are becoming electric. Not because it saves the environment. If anything, it kills the environment worse.
Yeah.
It's purely because they can turn off an electric car. They can't turn off your combustion. Yes. They get your serial number, turn off the car. Yeah. If you're trying to get away from a cop, put your serial number in or your license plate, turn off the car.
So it's not really cheaper for us at the cost of what could happen.
But they can turn that off, and even the cars that we have now, they can turn it off. But you can hotwire that shit, and it's gonna go.
Yeah.
You can hotwire it. It's gonna run. It's gonna run.
But
again.
That's the thing. Like, it's the same with money, where it's like, you know, everyone's saying like, oh yeah, I'm financially stable. I have this money in my bank account, and this and that. But that's all digital. The minute the bank like cuts you off, like government cuts you off, and it's like, okay, well, this is it. All your money is gone. Where's your actual money?
Moment it's in your hand is when it's real.
Exactly.
But even then, if it's real, like eventually it's gonna be worth nothing, depending where you go, what you want to use it for, and
because they have. Bravo. We're a mess this podcast.
It's okay.
Okay, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good entertainment.
It will be.
It's fine. All right, but no, honestly, like, yeah. But it's like, you know what's crazy? It's like people don't understand. It's like, oh yeah, like new technology, it's good. Like we're gonna, you know,
it's gonna be helping us.
It's gonna be helping us. Our money is in one place. You know, we just tap it.
It's easy to access.
But the government knows what they're doing.
They have so much more behind it.
They have an agenda, and the enemy knows what he's doing. Well, the enemy is like, I can make you, like, I can control you this way.
Here's the thing.
And money is a perfect way to control
They people. Probably have technology that's going to come out 20 years from now. That's going to be the norm in 20 years. If that makes sense. And then they're going to have further... They're like 10, 20 years ahead in technology. They have stuff that we're not going to see until...
I think in Japan, like Japan's like living in like 2080 or something right now.
Exactly.
They're very
Japan,
advanced.
even Dubai. Yeah. Look at Dubai. No tax. No nothing. Everybody there is living life. It's a business culture. They're happy. It's a business culture. You can't go to Dubai easily. You need to have a plan when you go there. Otherwise, they're not going to accept you.
So you're telling me the solution is to move to Japan and Dubai?
I don't know about Japan because I don't know the tax.
Okay, so you're telling me move to Dubai.
My solution is to really just go live out in the wilderness.
Go to Aruba.
Like I'm gonna like you want to deprive me from food. Like I'm gonna go on a farm, raise my own crops. That's my food. God will provide me oxygen. I will have water from the well. Like that's it.
Just be careful with the bears.
We're gonna move to Aruba. We're gonna move to Aruba. Just party every day.
Okay, well, I mean that's it on money, but I mean, I don't know if any of our mindsets changed. Like I know my mindset didn't change on money. Like I just know money.
No, but we could.
Money is set for control. Money is.
It just got me to think more about it.
Yeah, people use money as idols, and that's what everyone's just talking about. Like nowadays, it's like money. It's like
you need to find the right way to make it. If you find the right way to make it, you're gonna find a good path to become.
Yeah, but I find like the more people make it, it's like the more it's like they rely on it, and they're like,
yeah.
Oh well, like I can't live without it, and it's like, but what about God? You can't live without God.
Yeah,
sorry.
Exactly.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well, other people are obviously gonna have their different perspectives on it. They're gonna see it in a different way. We might have said stuff that
they're not
gonna agree with, or it might aggravate them, but that's just the way we see it.
Yeah, too bad. Opinions and
opinions. We have
a voice.
We have a voice. Do we know what's right? Do we know what's wrong? No, but do we speak? Well, I guess say what we think. Yes, because that's.
We're not being aggressive.
No,
we're not being aggressive.
We're not being pointing people.
In the end, it's our opinion.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is entitled to their own opinions, and I feel like the more you start looking at things spiritually and looking at things like what God provided for us and what He wants us to do with our time on Earth, it's like all of these worldly things are just like they're nothing. They're really nothing, and like we make a big thing out of these nothings, So yeah, that's it, guys. That was on money, and it was a wild podcast, but you know what? I hope you guys were entertained.
It was pretty entertaining.
It was fun.
It was a fun one to record.
We really got into it, like really about our whole life.
But it was a fun one to record. It was really fun.
Yeah, you know what? I love having you guys on. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
us. Again.
I have fun when I'm
here. We're gonna have another one
for sure.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you guys so much for watching as well. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yep.
Bye.